Hello! And welcome to another episode of
The Ed Factor, and we are on episode 13.
Think so.
Unlucky for some.
Unlucky for some, but not for us.
Triskaidekaphobia. This is not Friday the 13th. It is Friday the
goodness knows what. Or whatever day it is you're watching it.
Yeah, exactly. Hello and welcome.
We've got uploading it. Huh?
We have, I know. We've got quite a big show today.
Action-packed episode today. We are looking at
Fear of
the album. Fear of the Dark, the album. Yes, indeed. So, following on, I guess, from our No Prayer of the Dying.
The brilliant or bollocks debate. I have to say, starting off, I owe the listeners and you a wee bit of an apology because I was so down on the track The Assassin.
And now
I actually quite like it.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's not brilliant, but it's better than
it's a rough diamond.
Doesn't change my 6.5.
No.
But
6.5 is a good. It means it's a good album.
Decent.
It's not a brilliant album.
Yeah, okay, fair.
And I think that's fair. I have a soft spot for No Prayer for the Dying, as the pod says. Yeah. And I give it 6.5. Chris was unfamiliar and he gave it 6.5.
Yep.
So we move on from No Prayer for the Dying.
We go to the heady days of 1992.
Fear of the Dark. The heady days of 1992. Now this album follows on from the No Prayer of the Dying project.
Yep. And it was very much a project whenever you compare these two things together, I believe.
Yes. And I think for me, with No Prayer of the Dying, you can see what they're trying to do.
Okay.
They're recording in a barn. It's a mobile studio. They're trying to get the live feel. And as we kind of discussed, in some aspects, you get that live feel. And in some ways it works. The guitars are really, there's an urgency and a bit of energy, a spark there in the playing. You can feel that.
Totally.
And I felt that maybe the drum sound was shit. And
the clean guitars.
And some of the clean tones and stuff. So there was parts of it worked, parts of it didn't.
Yeah.
What is strange is that rather than it being a one-off project, Steve and the band decided to, Steve, I suppose.
Steve.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Steve.
Yeah, to convert the barn into a home studio.
Yep.
Which, if the album really worked, if No Prayer for the Dying had really, really worked, you could see why they did that.
Yeah.
But it didn't, and in his own admission, it didn't quite come off.
No.
So it seemed odd to me that this move, and for me, Chris, this is, I don't know how you feel about this, it's actually a really seismic decision, because this defines Maiden's decade.
It does, yeah.
Whereas No Prayer for the Dying is a one-off project.
Yeah.
And it has a bit of charm because of that. Actually trying to convert a barn into a proper studio means that the albums they do subsequently aren't really like a project.
Yeah.
It's actually
the norm.
Trying to be a studio album.
Yeah.
And for me, it never sounds like it's a proper studio.
No, I agree with you, yeah. I suppose you have to, and we talked about this at length in the last episode as well, talk about the, the gravity shift and changes in rock music, heavy metal music at this time.
And it seems totally, sorry, going ahead.
No, and I think you're right. The DIY ethos would be more in tune. The only band I can think of is really like Nirvana.
You still had a super producer?
Yeah, well, they had a super producer and a super mixer, but then we're talking after even this, when they go into the studio with Steve Albini to record a new release, was it 93 or so after this? But that's the only thing I could liken it to. And
Butch Vig for
Butch Vig, he recorded it and then he produced it, and then I think Andy Wallace, he mixed Slayer, he mixed it to make it more sound more radio friendly, as it were. And then of course Cobain said he hated the mix and things like that. That's pretty well documented. But I'm digressing a wee tiny bit. But definitely this is last I suppose I said in the last episode about a repositioning. Yeah. This is the way forward, and for better or for worse, it's what we're going to have to talk about.
It's what we're going to have to talk about. So
we'll talk about that in greater depth in a wee while, maybe.
Yes, we will. So production for me, just I wanted to say it from the off. just for me, it plays a huge role.
It does.
In
I agree.
what is perhaps a decline for the band, and I think it's fair to say that.
I don't want to shit my bolt too early, but yeah, I agree.
It really impacts this album for me. So, album is written and recorded tail end of 91 and between January and April 92.
Yeah, that would tie in with the single releases. So the first single, as most of you probably know, is Be Quick or Be Dead, which is the 13th of April 92.
Yep. So I suppose it's also worth saying as well, the really quick turnarounds of the 80s are now gone. There's a little bit more time.
Well, they're in their mid-30s now, aren't they? You know, as well.
So it's I suppose maybe it's fair to say that Steve's decision is more about spending time at home, family, this, that, and the other. So I suppose there's that to consider.
Yeah.
So will we dig into the tracks?
Yeah, I have a funny feeling this is going to be quite interesting.
It's going to be interesting, yeah. So, track number 1, Be Quick or Be Dead. Which is...
It's got to definitely have Yannick Gers in it somewhere.
It is a Dickinson Gers effort, yeah. Interesting you should say that because, of course, this would be Yannick Gers' second album, but he was brought in 2 days before the recording of No Prayer for the Land started. So he's on the album, and his playing is actually really visceral on the album.
Incendiary, I think is the word I used last time.
Yeah, and that's what probably adds a bit of fire to that album, actually. But this is different because this is him writing. Yeah. For the album.
And he had previous with Bruce.
He's previous with Bruce. But this is maybe pulling Maiden in a different direction. There's no Smith now. Dave Murray chips in with 2 songs in this album, but isn't the biggest of songwriters. No,
so never was either.
Yannick's, I feel, trying to find his way in this one.
Yeah, one thing that has to be sort of from the offset. There's nothing where Bruce and Steve wrote together in this album. There's not.
There isn't.
No, there's not.
That is a good call.
Yannick's this is in a way Yannick's album. He's the conduit for everybody.
That's a good spot, actually. Really good spot. And considering there was more Harris Dickinson on No Prayer for the Dying than any other album. Yeah. It's interesting that there's no collaboration in this. Interesting. So Dickinson Gers, Be Quick or Be Dead.
Be Quick or Be Dead.
Be quick or be dead.
Brilliant. Now, thrash.
Yes.
Maiden's thrashiest intro. Maiden's thrashiest riff.
Yes. I would say that's fair. I also... So I have... it is their thrashiest.
Get off the fence.
Off the fence. I am slightly torn about this song because I am not that keen on the album version. Okay. But I much prefer the live version, so on a real live one or done in the 92. Yeah. And why is that? It's because it sounds more like Maiden. Yeah. It's a little bit faster. But there's something that I think it's Bruce's singing. Yep. He's actually sings it
properly, yeah, indeed.
And in this, it's the rasp. Yeah. Which
now at the very beginning of the song, you've got your trademark high. yeah.
Which is class.
Yeah, because whenever you imagine you pick this up in 92, you may be a bit disappointed with No Prayer. You pick this up, and like I did, because again we haven't spoken about this. That's one of our trademarks. We didn't talk about it at all. And it's been a few weeks since the last recording. Yep. And I've listened to literally nothing but this album, and this album, even more so than No Prayer, was like a brand new album to me. I could have told you the singles, and obviously the title track. The rest of it, couldn't have sung it to you. Yeah. No idea. And that's honest truth. I have the tape of it, like of all my tapes, but never listened to it. I haven't listened to it in maybe 25 years, easy. Yep. So, picking this up, listening to it, I'm like, we're back. This is Maiden. Slight adjustment for the ages.
It is
fast intro. Yeah. Good drums. Very, on it. Urgent riff. Yeah. Brilliant riff. Great solo.
Great solo. Yeah. Good guitar playing.
Good melody as well. See
Yes.
who's ruling all our lives.
Yes,
Yep.
I would agree. I
Right.
would agree.
But it's not Maiden.
It's not Maiden. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. No,
I agree.
we are going to agree a lot on this. I'm not sure.
I think we may. For me, it's one of the most un-Maiden openers. Although it sounds far more Maiden live.
Yeah.
The live version.
Totally. Yeah.
So it does, and it's amazing. And I guess it's. I don't know. I think it's for two reasons. That one is the vocal. I think I think he overdoes the rasp in this.
Yeah.
And it sounds forced.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound natural. And actually irritates me a bit. And the other thing is the kind of the production. There's a deadness around that room.
Yeah.
And whatever way they've done things or changed how they're recording it from, or soundproof the room or whatever the goodness they've done, I think the room actually on the next couple of albums sounds really dead.
Yeah.
And that's not Maiden.
I would say
they're so lively.
Yeah.
You know,
Martin Birch is semi-retired here.
This is Steve and Martin Birch.
Yeah, Martin Birch oversaw the installation in the studio.
Yes.
I would say there are certain parts of this album you could tell Martin Birch was there, and there are certain parts of this album you could say that Steve was there running the console, and this is Steve running the console. Now, nobody has the production notes in that. We don't know. It's out the speculation. Yeah. There are certain wee parts in it which I think sound better produced than others.
Yes.
Certain tracks definitely sound better produced than others.
I would agree
or
with that.
Or is it the mixing? I don't know, but definitely.
I would agree with that. There are there's a song that I think is actually really quite badly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this I don't think is a particularly bad mix or something, but there's something about I don't like the drum sound.
Yeah. So I think the drum sound in this album is all over the place.
Yeah, I don't.
Sometimes it sounds quite reverby. Sometimes it's just tries get out.
Yeah, and on the snare drum particularly.
Well, that's where you hear it most.
Yeah, that's I don't like it. There's something just isn't pleasurable to the ear or something.
Yeah,
it's just jars with me a bit.
Yeah. Giving it the snob's ear that we both have. Right?
Yeah, yes,
yeah, you know what I mean?
Totally. I'm also not keen on the guitar tones, but for whatever reason,
I don't think there's any real movement from the last album regarding guitar sound.
I think the guitars sound different.
Do you?
I think if you listen to the start of Tail Gunner, right, those chugs, there's still an element of the Seventh Son guitar tone there. Whether now it sounds more like it's a bit more Richie Blackmore. It's a bit more Gursy. It's a bit there's definitely a change.
I would have said
tone.
definitely. I would have said sort of No Prayer was more as Blackmore. I was actually listening to this scene, thinking about that, listening to his leads and his fills, and I was thinking, is this more Richie Blackmore? Is this more Yannick becoming himself? And I thought it was more Yannick being himself. But fair enough. I take your point.
No, that's
the problem I have with this particular track's the lyrics.
Yes, so
it's
they're
political,
which isn't really.
It's not what I'm looking for in Maiden.
No, I would agree with that. Yeah, that's another thing.
Given we are in a post-Senjutsu atmosphere,
political lyrics,
post-Senjutsu world, Maiden have laid down their most political album ever, and it is an absolute masterpiece.
But it's political.
It hits you in the feels.
It's more
This is being political for politicalness' sake.
Because it's the trendy thing to be at the time, and they're trying to
update
on. Themselves. Yeah. They're trying to.
Do you believe that?
I feel that as well. I think it's a little bit forced.
But Robert Maxwell.
Yeah.
And the Mayor Grip and things like that. You know, Robert Maxwell was a massive. So you think about Rupert Murdoch, something similar.
Yeah.
He owned a lot of newspapers in the United Kingdom in the 80s and 90s. And there was a huge big pension fund, and it turned out that there was financial irregularities in it.
Yes.
And it turned out that it ended up that his he disappeared off a boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, this was the highlight. This is the highlight of a lot of stuff. 92 in the UK, Sleaze, a lot of that there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So yeah, it's an odd opener for me.
It's not the 1-2 punch we're looking for.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I think Tail Gunner is an infinitely better track.
Absolutely.
You know,
Tail Gunner is the best opener of. No, I'm not going to say anything.
No, don't say it anymore. Don't say it's the best opener of No Prayer for the Dead.
Yeah,
but it's a better opener than this.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, Tail Gunner's Maiden. This isn't. I think it's very different. So
this is going to be there's a little theme in this episode, folks. I think
a theme.
Yeah, a theme of this isn't Maiden.
Yes.
And if you agree with us, that's fine. If you don't agree with us, because you know, I do know there are people out there.
There's a lot of fans that love this album. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the way, this album was a UK #1.
Yeah, they're third only.
Yeah, and like it was a big album. I went to the tour and everything.
His first gig, first Maiden gig.
My first Maiden gig. Mm-hmm. So you know, at the time, I was. Although this album was never really a real favorite for me. I had No Prayer for the Dead, Fear of the Dark, but it was the others that I started getting
back into the earlier ones.
And the songs that I liked of this album, or should I say the versions that I liked of this album, were actually off a real live one.
Yeah. See, yeah, I'm going to say that about, you know what I'm going to say it about, but, you know.
So, yeah, for me, not the greatest of openers. So, next track.
From Here to Eternity.
From Here to Eternity.
Second single.
The second single, which was released on 29th of June.
Yep, 92.
So for me, I've written, it's very DC.
My God, exact same. DC-esque, yep.
It's DC-esque.
Great intro. Yannick's finger pickings here. Mm-hmm. But he obviously plays the guitar with his fingers in certain tracks. Mm-hmm. So he does. I quite like the intro. It's different. But again, it's not Maiden.
It's not Maiden. It's not what I want from Maiden. I think it's They were doing this on No Prayer for the Dead. Yeah. We mentioned it. There's some songs that, you know, I thought, yeah, Bruce has been listening to AC/DC, and there's definitely, you know, there's that kind of Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, etc. But this is
written by Steve Harris.
It's written by Steve.
This is the most Bruce Dickinson Steve Harris song that ever done.
You know, yeah.
And Bruce Dickinson only sang it. He didn't write any of the lyrics. You know, the innuendo is.
It's like Steve has followed on from Bruce's writing in the last album or something. Yeah. It feels like a very un-Steve Harris song.
Yeah, and it's apparently a part of the Charlotte series. Charlotte
the Harlot series, yeah. And I don't know, I don't sorry guys if you love this album, we sound we're being negative about
like
it.
This song.
I quite like it. Yeah. The again, I prefer it live.
I like it better than Be Quicker Be Dead.
Yes, I like it better than Be Quicker
more
Be
of more of an, you know, one of the very few songs.
Chorus is pretty good.
Yeah, one of the very few songs on this album. I think if Adrian was there, he'd have put something into it.
Yeah,
and he'd have definitely just lifted it.
Lifted it a wee bit.
This album misses him quite a lot, I think.
I think so too.
More so than the last album.
More so than the last album. The last album they got away with it.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah.
And actually, Yannick's playing in the last album in some ways comes across as a breath of fresh air, but that's because they were going for that rough and ready vibe, and that worked. For this, they're trying to make a studio album.
They are,
and for me, it actually comes across as kind of steel sounding. That's the thing I get.
Well, you know what? There's an album there. I was sort of again looking 92, end of 92. You're right in the middle of grunge, right? Mm-hmm. But there's another album out there, Rage Against the Machine's album. Yeah, was out about the same time.
There's lots of albums come out actually in and around, and actually in the weeks and months just after this. On the more talk about Rage, there's Vulgar Display of Power.
Yeah,
you're talking a post Metallica Black album.
Yeah,
where
production
is a massive thing, and you're getting, you know. It was Terry Date, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Produced that, you know, super producers or you know, they're spending time on it.
Yeah.
You've got Angel Dust,
Yeah, all my days.
You know,
I don't even start talking about Faith No More.
Sonically sounds fantastic.
Yep. One of my favourite bands.
You've got Countdown to Extinction, produced by Max Norman. Now, you only need to, actually walking down here, I listened to a bit of Fear of the Dark, and then I flipped on Symphony of Destruction, and just sonically, it's so much better. Like, not to even go on about you can tell with that album or Symphony of Destruction, whether you're a Megadeth fan or not, that song has been crafted. That song has been worked on. That song has been, it's a single, but in order to be commercial, yet it's really heavy. Alice in Chains, Them Bones, like sonically, it's just
brilliant.
It's so well produced. It's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
The guitar sounds so big.
Another one
the
of our
vocals
favourites.
Harmonies are fantastic. That's not just get in a room and hit record.
No, exactly, no.
And it seems a little bit like...
And not done in an estate in Essex either.
Not done in a barn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, that hampers the whole album. This is very AC/DC. There is a good guitar solo by Dave Murray.
There is, yeah.
Cool bit of whammy bar.
Yeah, there is.
Start your engines.
Wow. Yeah, that's right, that's right.
I love that. And it's a catchy chorus. It's a good one to sing along to. I think it sounds great live. So it's good. It's not great.
It's possible.
It's possible. It's good, but it feels to me like we're listening to a band that are trying to be something else.
Yeah.
There whether you want to call that experimenting, or what, they're probably because they made so many albums during the 80s. It's such a turnover of time. They're just trying something else.
Yeah.
Maybe, and it's not, for me, it's not working in the same way.
No.
So that's what I
agree.
This track.
As a 1-2 punch, you're not going to be left lying on the canvas.
No, this isn't Aces High and 2 Minutes to Midnight.
Certainly not. Absolutely
it's not Where Eagles Dare and Revelations.
Yeah.
It's not
Invaders.
Children of the Damned.
Yeah.
Need we go on?
Yeah.
It's not Caught Somewhere in Time.
Don't even go
And Wasted Years.
We're not talking about that.
Or Moonchild, Infinite Dreams. So there's the whole Dickinson era. And I would argue it's also not even Tail Gunner, Holy Smoke.
Yeah.
Is a better 1-2 punch. So as an opening duo, I think we're below par.
Yeah, but I am going to say, and it's going to like a catchphrase, those two tracks are of their time.
Are they? I think
not of their
think
time.
They are.
No, but they're of their time. No, you see, that's a point I'm going to come to when I'm summing up this. I think they're of their time, and I'll talk to you a bit more about that later. Okay. Now, track 3. So
Afraid
to Shoot Strangers.
So I think this is a great song.
So do I think it's brilliant.
It's a brilliant song. It's better than the previous two.
Knocks spots off them.
Really well written.
Great shift of gear as well.
Great shift of gear. Steve writes really heartfelt lyrics. He's great at getting inside a character's head.
Yeah.
And conveying emotions.
And again, it's topical again though.
It is topical.
It's a Desert Storm.
It is, but because it's in that, I guess the way it's told, it doesn't feel. It feels Maiden to me.
It does,
because it's in that first person narrative, and it's also, it could be about any war.
Could be somebody who observed the trooper.
It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing in it that's really fixed to.
Yeah, this is a real gem on the album, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, a real gem.
Totally.
Synths there.
Yeah, the synth is there.
I like the pace. The pace gives it the atmosphere.
Yes.
There's nearly it's a Tame Milan sort of thing at the beginning, or Alexander the Great, like
an ethereal quality.
Yeah, perfect.
I would say so as well. And I do like that. Now, I think that the intro, there's something odd about the bass sound of the mix or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it sounds a little bit like it's too, like it's right in front of you or something.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Tinny? No, well, not tinny, but yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like he's
Like at least right there, you nearly can
in.
hear his fingers tapping on top of the pole pieces of the pickup.
It's almost too intimate or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
To the point of almost sounding like it's homemade.
Like he needs to do it again.
Yeah.
We love you, Steve. We love you, Steve.
I don't mean that. It's not the way it's played. It's the way it's recorded.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he's DI'd in or something. Or I don't know. But it is a really good song. Other thing I picked up on this track, there is twin lead work abound
Just
on
about,
this, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I was reading an interview very recently.
Okay.
With Blaze.
Right.
Who's talking about the guitars on the X Factor.
Oh God, there's something I could talk about for an hour.
Now, we're not going to talk about the X Factor. No, that'll be in a
couple of next time.
Couple of episodes time. Yes. But he was saying that it was a conscious decision by the band and by, you know, you need to speak to Dave and Yannick about that, but not to really have guitar harmonies.
Right.
Now, I read that and I went, oh yeah, I wonder. It's actually a lot of the twin leads on No Prayer for the Dying aren't harmonies. They're playing the same thing. It's the same here.
Yeah.
Now you think of all those guitar lines.
Yes. The famous ones. The ones
from this track.
Oh, from this track, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
They're not harmonized. They're not. They're both playing the same thing.
I didn't notice that.
So that's actually a staple. Thanks, Blaze, for pointing that out, because it's something that I had been aware of in the X Factor and in Virtual 11 at times. Didn't really twig with me that it's actually on this album and the previous one as well. It's actually a Gers Murray staple. Mm-hmm. What an odd thing to do.
Yeah.
And for me, it makes it sound thinner.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't give you that. It doesn't give you the broad tonality that it would have with harmonies.
Like why?
Anybody, I don't know exactly.
Make any sense?
Yeah.
I'd love to know why the band thought, or the guitarist thought, or whose concept was that. Oh, we've got two guitars, but just play the same line. Did they think that harmonizing was dated? They
probably did, you know.
You know, was that what it was? And they thought this was more contemporary or something.
Yeah.
It's just not playing to the band's strength.
Yeah. Dimebag's not playing with harmony.
No.
Like harmonies are pedals, but
So odd. And this, I mean, there's some such smashing guitar lines in this.
Great, yeah.
And that's one of the things. Just if only they'd harmonized them, it might have sounded a bit.
Yeah. The other thing about it as well, it's a maiden song. This one, it is double timed.
Yeah.
In parts. But there's one thing I have to say about this track. Mm-hmm. Blaze Bayley sings this track better.
I also agree.
Oh,
so I also agree.
I thought this was gonna be alright. I think it's all good.
No. I agree.
Yeah,
I think that
it's written for somebody with his vocal range.
Yeah, and I mean particularly.
He doesn't. Bruce could never sing out with the passion that Blaze sings it.
The end bit.
Yeah,
Blaze absolutely knocks that out of the park. He really, really nails it. I saw him sing this song as well, on the X Factor.
Yeah,
and it really was a highlight of the show. And the live version's it's just brilliant with him, and it's because he's singing full pelt.
Yeah,
at that outro bit, whether Bruce is going for a lower,
like a
more ambient thing or something, you know. But yeah, it does really suit Bruce or Blaze's voice,
style,
which I guess is about keys and how to write for a particular singer, which is something we'll sing about, or we'll talk about.
Maybe not sing about. We'll talk about
in other episodes. So,
yeah.
So yeah, Afraid to Shoot Strangers, good song. The only other thing I would say about it is the fast bit really rocks live. Doesn't quite rock as much.
You're right.
On this, it sounds a bit restrained or something.
That's the barn.
That's the barnyard. That's the barn. The room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Definitely.
even for me, say like the fast bit off No Prayer for the Dying, the song, still rocks. More than this. This just doesn't quite catch fire, and it should. Like when they're playing it live, it's brilliant. The fast bit.
Yeah.
But good. Yeah. really good track. Best track so far. Yep.
Yeah.
Next track
track number 4
is
off Led Zeppelin. Sorry, Iron Maiden. Fear is the Key.
Fear is the Key. Dickinson Girls. Yeah.
The kids have lost their freedom,
and nobody cares.
I certainly don't.
I've written. Funny you say Led Zeppelin. I've written Led Zeppelin / Rainbow.
Yep, that's exactly what I written. Led Zeppelin influence here, which is new.
Yep.
Now, we don't want Maiden to be Led Zeppelin. We want Led Zeppelin to be Led Zeppelin, and we love Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
But this is right on the nose. This is a stinker.
It is. I've written. As you can see here, terrible.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah, not a Maiden song.
No, this is not an Iron Maiden song.
I would say.
For me at all.
I would say, the riff's good.
But
it's not Maiden.
But it's not for Iron Maiden.
It's certainly not. I like the riff, and I am offended by this song in a way because I think it takes on Freddie Mercury's death, and I think I read in my research there was a bit of Bruce did say something about that, and I think
nobody cares to somebody's famous dies.
But I think it's just leave that alone. But it's because I have I love Freddie, but
it's funny you should mention Freddie as well because I think on that, not about the topic, but just on mentioning Led Zeppelin. If you look at Queen, you can be influenced by a band such as Led Zeppelin.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about the song Innuendo, which is Queen does Led Zeppelin. Is what Roger Taylor said about it.
Released the same time.
Which was released the same year. 91 early 91, yeah. But it's still Queen. They've managed to absorb that Led Zeppelin influence and do what's, you can hear, there's a bit of Led Zeppelin there, but it's still Queen. This isn't still Iron Maiden.
No, this is
a parody. Like it's
a parody.
A bad Led Zeppelin.
If Adrian Smith got his hands in this, you would have had a track that you could put in Parsley. You listen to the modal shift and the riff. It's Eastern. Page's Kashmiri influence could be in Parsley, but he would have to have done a hell of a lot of work with it.
My take on that would be that Adrian just would have written something more interesting and better. He'd have just written something better. Yeah. It's just...
The lyrics are weird. The double time bit is horrendous. As I've said here, the acoustic strong. The kids have lost the freedom. And the acoustic... Lines repeated. Dickie scream just through in there like you chuck something in the kitchen sink. Yeah. Sounds like it's from musical theatre. That part.
And also
the kids have lost the freedom running around the stage.
I don't really know what else to do.
Don't know what I'm doing.
But
I'm sleepwalking.
Lies and lies and lies
and lies and lies and lies and lies and lies.
It's awful. I've written here lies and lies. Awful.
It's terrible.
Now to give it a few plus sides, there's some really good guitar work, as in there's some nice lead work by Yannick Gers. Very, very Blackmore-esque leads.
Man, we're 5 tracks in.
It's not Maiden. We're 4 tracks in.
We're 4 tracks in.
Yeah.
We're
trashing it.
No, the only thing that we've sort of give positivity to is...
It's Afraid of Strangers.
No, is lead work.
It's lead work. Yes. That's true. That is a good point.
Yeah,
good point.
The whole way through.
The songs aren't there. Afraid of Strangers so far.
Afraid of Strangers is the only gem in this bag of.
This is a poor song. It really lacks.
I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Well, I'll not say anything else. No. Right. Next is Childhood's End.
Next is Childhood's End.
Written by Steve Harris.
Yep. Now, Childhood's End. Tribal.
I've written cool traditional drumming.
Yep, tribal drum. Now, this could be on this. Some
almost sounds like a lambeg drum. This
it
does, or a boron or something like that.
Yeah, it does. It does. There's definitely that primordial
that vibe about it.
There's definitely something about the goat skin.
Yes,
about it. You're right.
No, the production lacks fire.
The production lacks fire. This album has this track, in my opinion, has potential.
Yep. I agree.
There are there are certain notes in this, not notes, there are certain parts of this particular song which I think, not being a connoisseur of the X Factor, really as much as it should be, or Virtual 11 compared to the reunion stuff. But there are notes of the reunion stuff in this track, I think.
Yeah.
This track could be on Senjutsu.
Yeah.
Done better.
It could. Yeah.
Just better.
I would agree with that. There is.
I sort of thought, I heard Fear is the Key. I listened to it, thought that's garbage. And then I put this on and thought, that's rubbish. But then when I listened to it, I thought, it's way better than Fear is the Key.
It's way better.
Yeah. Not as good as Afraid to Shoot Strangers, but.
No, but it's way better than Fear is the Key. I agree. Song would work better. It's not
Maiden. It's still not Maiden, I think. It's Maiden now. Maiden could do something with that now. Put an extra section in, or have Smith have triple harmonies or something.
A lot of that's to do with the production, Chris.
Yeah.
If the production's just pants.
It's not great.
It
is all over the place,
and it just doesn't really help. I actually think that
nothing's gelling on this yet with me at all.
No, this song would work better with bigger or better sound. It's actually a pretty decent track. And it's interesting what you used to say about the reunion stuff, because listening to the verses of this, actually the chord pattern really reminded me of, and I'd never thought this before.
Don't say it.
For the Greater Good of God.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right? And yet, For the Greater Good of God sounds immense. Now, one
of my reunion favourites.
What a track.
Yeah.
It's a home run.
It is a home run's right.
But for several reasons, the production, because they sound massive. The bands sound massive. The guitars sound big. Bass is powerful. Nico's drum kit sounds awesome on A Matter of Life and Death. And Bruce.
Yeah.
He sings his balls off on that. Whether in this, he's not really singing his balls off.
He's not singing.
He's not. He's
talking.
He's doing that. Yeah. And
apart from the bits, but
yeah,
he's talking. It's hard.
I agree. And the production's pants. It's just it's probably.
I read a 92 interview of French magazine that he had, and the idea behind this song is that living in the real world, but the world is slowly falling apart, and I think that is extremely prophetic.
Prophetic, yes.
Given this album and in the time period of Maiden's history it's in, but
I don't know. I always quite like this song.
I quite like this song.
Quite interesting about it.
This is nearly a deep cut for me. This is something that I would stick this on. There's a couple of more deep cuts coming,
and I find it. It's a really good point you make. You could find that on Senjutsu. I hadn't actually made that connection.
But the first, there is the track Senjutsu.
Yeah, it is a maturity and a something about it.
But I think this is I don't know. So, this is a reflection. This track's maybe a bit of a reflection of what musically was going on at the time. I don't know, but
I don't know. I've written here. The other point was just, again, the twin leads don't harmonize apart from a really short passage before the last verse.
Yeah.
And for me, it could have harmonized more. But anyway, no, it's a decent track. Decent track. Definitely one of the better ones so far.
Definitely.
I think so. Next.
Is this side 2? No, it's not. It's the last song on side 1.
Last song on side 1.
Last song on side 1 is
Wasting Love.
Get your lighter out. Get your lighter out. Get the phone unplugged.
A ballad.
Get the balloon on out. Get your takeaway curry. 2 forks.
So what I have written here, Chris, is...
We can't wait to hear this.
I'm just going to come out with it. It's odd they played this on the tour.
My first word on this, my notes on this are 3 letters. WTF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's odd. It sounds... Now, I've also written, before I tell you what I think of the song, it's probably Bruce's best vocal performance of the album so far.
Yeah. Did you ever listen to the album he made before this?
Tattooed Millionaire.
Specifically the track Son of a Gun.
Oh, wouldn't be as familiar with it. I know Tattoo Millionaire, born in 58.
Go and listen to it.
Why is it this?
Pretty much.
Right. Okay.
It sounds like an offcut.
Right.
But saying that, production, I think this is quite well produced for what it is.
For what it is?
This is...
You think so? Yeah.
Well, I tell you, it is made in the ilk of Nothing Else Matters.
It's nowhere.
I know it's nowhere near it. But the idea... we're going to do... This is
I disagree with you on that.
Okay. So you're right to disagree. Silent Lucidity, Queensrÿche.
Okay. No.
Mama, I'm Coming Home, Aussie. This is their...
Okay. Yeah.
This is their slow poke music, right?
Yeah, but...
This... When I heard... See, when this song starts, I hear Def Leppard.
You see...
Like Bringing On the Heartbreak.
But when you're saying Def Leppard and you're mentioning Nothing Else Matters, those records are...
I don't mean the way they're made. I don't mean their content.
Phenomenally produced.
No, I don't mean the production of it either. I started talking about the production.
You mean the songwriting?
I mean the actual idea behind the song.
Right, okay.
That's what I mean.
Okay, sorry.
But it sounds like they've taken a bit of time in this.
Yeah.
All right, the production's not as good as Nothing Else Matters. How could it be? But
it's done in a fucking barn. Yeah.
Done in a barn in Essex, surrounded by cans of Ruddles.
It's almost like they've hamstrung themselves. They have actually hamstrung themselves.
I've written here, could have been on any late 1980s Whitesnake album.
Yeah.
You know, Coverdale would have done a cracking curly perm version of this with some doll on top of a white Jag in white stilettos. Not Coverdale.
Not Coverdale. The guitars do harmonise though. Actually do harmonise in this track.
They do.
But I've also written, but somehow it's nowhere near as thick as Smith would have made it.
Pertinent point.
Yeah, it's not.
What about Out of the Shadows? What about Coming Home?
Yeah, I mean, two great tracks.
Two ballads.
Power ballads. I mean, and even prior to that, and away from, Tears of the Dragon.
Yeah,
is a fantastic power ballad.
Yeah.
So it's not that we're against Bruce Dickinson power ballads or whatever.
Listen to Son of a Gun, and the video sucks.
Right, I'll have to check out that.
Do you not watch the video of this?
Oh, of this?
The video of the song?
No, I didn't. Didn't even know there was a video of this song.
There's a video of this, honest to God.
I mean...
Michael Bolton, standard. Brilliantly produced video for Maiden.
For Maiden,
This is the 90s, and they have thrown a few
kitchen
pounds at
sink at it, right?
No, yeah.
Because I thought the videos for, which we didn't mention, I thought the video for Be Quick or Be Dead is awful. It's awful.
It is.
And it's like chasing them around the Docklands with a camcorder.
Pretty much.
It's terrible. And
this is Shadow, Fire.
He's pretty pissed as well.
Oh my God, this is like a step above. I think they've actually took a bit of money out of the production budget of the album to make the video for Wasting Love.
There was a production budget? This is Steve's house.
He has to pay for his heat and his light.
Guys, look,
Zlacky?
By the
Zlacky
way,
Bill was through the roof.
in case you haven't guessed, we are massive Iron Maiden fans. So
we love Iron Maiden.
Think we're slating them.
It's our favourite band.
We're not. They are our
we
favourite
were children
band.
when we get into them.
But
don't listen to this if it's your first episode. Turn off now. Go listen to this somewhere in time.
I think as fans, I think I said this on another one, you have to call them out.
You do.
You know, when they're not on top of their game. You know, if you're a football fan and your team gets hammered, I'll not say anything about that. But you can't turn around and say, oh, they played brilliantly when they didn't. You know, and that's just being honest. And Maiden are not playing brilliantly here.
I have to say, this would be the only Iron Maiden song I had played to my wife and she would listen to the whole way through.
I think it's...
And then I would tell her at the end that was Maiden and she'd go, that was rubbish.
It was rubbish. Yeah.
And
yeah.
The last thing I want to say about this particular track is, and I hate saying this is probably the closest thing they ever did to Sell Now.
Yeah.
The only reason that song is on that album is to appeal to a different type of market. And if you watch the video, it's compounded.
It's compounded by that.
Video. And I definitely think so.
There's no Eddie on the cover.
No Eddie on the cover.
It's a pen,
I remember actually seeing that in the shop.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Whenever I was like,
no
what's that about? And I ignored it.
Yeah. There's no Eddie in Bermuda Eternity or a very discreet one or something.
We were in Belfast in school.
Yeah.
In Virgin Megastore.
Yeah. So, Yeah, no, I would say
Rage
that
Against the Machine albums.
they're trying to appeal to, which kind of sums this album up. I suppose we're not at the summing up point yet. We've another side to go, but
It's all over the place.
it's a band that are. There's a bit of an identity crisis going on here.
Man, watch the video. You want to see an
know.
identity crisis?
Yeah, I'll have to watch that.
There's not a monitor inside for Ari Aris to put his foot on.
But here.
There he is.
There he is.
Classic.
So yeah, this is nothing against ballads or maiden ballads, but this for me just isn't a good one. But others may disagree. I think what's more damning is that Bruce's vocals are actually really good. For me, it's just not a good song. Whether it's the melody just doesn't. There's no the hook. Just doesn't. It doesn't really grab me. It doesn't really grab me emotionally or something. And it's not that he's not even singing it well. Maybe the production doesn't obviously help. But
you get the lyric sheet there. First two lyrics say it all. Here we go. Maybe one day I'll be an honest man.
Up till now, I'm doing the best I can.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Say no more.
I must say, your print of Fear of the Dark hasn't been touched. Oh, you talked about that in the last episode. The print and the tape is immaculate. Anybody want to buy a brand spanking new copy? It's never been played. Probably has.
My copy, hardly. You see the copy of flipping No Prayer for the Dying?
My Samsung's blank, sure.
It's my No Prayer for the Dying.
It's just looks like a blank tape.
It's as you put it, well thumbed. not this. Like even the covers.
It's mint, man.
Hardly touched. Never was keen on this album. So we're on to side 2.
Let's flip it over.
Flipping it over.
Flipping it over.
To see.
Listening to this, it's been a bit of a slog.
It's been a slog so far. Yes. I'm sorry to say, but so Fugitive, cool intro.
Heavy.
Finally, a bit of fucking fire.
Yeah.
Pardon my French.
Yeah.
It's quite menacing.
It's Ari Aris back to sort of painting us a picture.
Yep. Yeah. Classic first-person storytelling.
Yeah. I love it. The October Mists.
Yeah.
Tell you a story. I was riding my bike at 7 a.m. just down by Loch Ness where we live, and I was listening to Fear of the Dark and riding through a forest, and the lights on my bike are crap, and I couldn't see where I was going. I was listening to this, and I was like, mists and I was like, I'm actually here.
So it was a cold October morning.
It was a cold October morning.
When frost lay on the ground.
Exactly, it was. And I was going my way down here on my bike. Idiot, I'm going to crash.
And jump the wall.
Heavy guitar. I like the chorus.
I quite like this song, yeah.
I'm a fugitive. Very good.
There's a bit of a similarity, only it's not maybe quite as fun as The Assassin, but there's a
yeah.
Like Assassin.
I'm nearly spun around my chair, Andy, sorry.
Nearly fell off the seat of that.
I wrote that myself. Refreshing after wasting love. Can't explain why I like this more than The Assassin from No Prayer for the Dying.
But there's a similarity between the two songs.
Yeah, I can't explain why I like this better.
Right. I prefer The Assassin more. But
it's more tongue in cheek.
It is more tongue in cheek.
It's more po-faced, but it's good. I like this song.
I like this song too. The verses finally have some fire. The keyboard doesn't add anything for me. I wish they'd just strip that out. Yeah. But yeah, it's a decent track.
It's a palate cleanser.
It is a palate cleanser. And for this album, I've written still a B-rate maiden track. Yeah. But on this album, it's one of the stronger efforts.
I do like this song.
Yeah. I think it's a decent song. Yeah. So yes, good marks for The Fugitive. Next is Chains of Misery.
Yeah.
Which I have written shite.
I didn't write it just quite as effusive as that. I wrote one word. Right there on.
And I hate the chorus vocal effect.
Now, I'm going to say something about this. You are a hard rock fan. I am a hard rock fan.
Yeah.
Catchy chorus, butt filler. This is a Warrant tune.
Yeah, that's why I hate
this. Is not a Maiden song. This is a Motley Crue album filler.
Yeah, it's really not
the late 80s hair rock filler.
That is it like a chant or
crowd, like it might have been
crowd
effect.
like a crowd mob effect, you know,
mob effect,
all chanting chains of misery. That is so Motley Crue or something like that, or
again,
it's just shite. I'm sorry to say.
It's
I don't like it.
It's not good.
No, and just the songwriting isn't there.
Yeah, it's not there.
So it's not.
This is my least favorite track in the album.
Yeah, as you can see, it's definitely. Well, I'm not sure if it is actually my least favorite track in the album, but
I think we haven't talked about your least favorite track in the album.
No, not yet.
I think I have a fair idea what your least favorite track in the album is.
Well, there's a couple that are coming up.
Right. Okay.
So we'll swiftly move on from Chains of Misery, which is a Murray Dickinson effort, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. No, Judas Be My Guide's not Murray Dickinson. Judas Be My Guide's Murray.
So Fugitive was Harris.
Yeah.
Chains of Misery is Murray Dickinson. Yeah. So Smiley effort. Now next is Judas Be My Guide is Murray Dickinson as well. Next is the Apparition, which is a Harris Gers. Which
didn't you?
Right now.
Thought not.
And one of the really bad lines.
It's true.
Live your life with a passion.
I've printed these lyrics out. I love them.
I think this song is truly awful, I have to say. It's another Led Zeppelin parody.
Right now.
Which plods along. It's plod. This is plod.
It does.
It does. I think Bruce, to be fair to him, does his best to try and bring some character or something to it.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying to be Led Zeppelin. They're trying to be quasi-mystical or something like that. And it just doesn't, for me, it just doesn't come off. Sorry for anyone who likes this song. I just think musically it's really unimaginative and it's just not Maiden. Where's the fire? Where's the throttle? Again, they're trying to do something else. They're trying to, get Yannick into the writing, and, I think Yannick becomes a great songwriter for Maiden, particularly in the post-2000 era. But I think in this album, his ideas just aren't Iron Maiden. They're not. For me, anyway. Sorry, Yannick, love you, but I'm not keen on the songs here at all. This is another Led Zeppelin copy.
It's true.
That's my say. What do you think?
The first time I heard it, I hated it. Absolutely loathed it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loathed this song.
Mm-hmm.
Then something weird happened.
Right.
This has started to wear me down a wee bit.
Because you've got it in your head, have you?
I can't get it in my head. I can't get it in my head. Now, that's not a good thing, guys. That is not a good thing.
So every time you're making your breakfast or something, I'm going,
here
I am, can you see me?
Yeah, that's it. And pretty much as I'm walking down the stairs, I'm in my pajamas. And then I'm going, because I'm here.
It's haunting you.
But
the apparition is haunting you.
I like it because it's hilarious, and that's not Maiden. Now, this is by far and away not a Maiden song. No way, no how. No, it's more like a DC song in my opinion, right?
A bad DC song?
Yeah, a bad DC song. One you actually would hit skip by.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of cool wee bits in it. The wee 4-bar mid solo sections cool. No, is this not the song that's got there's a wee tiny bit in it. Yeah, I quite like that.
That wee bit.
It's rare, but
yeah. It is rare. It's odd.
And it's good. It is rare that it's in it. Mm-hmm. The two solos that bookend it are decent as well.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're talking
about decent solos. Yeah.
But this is a cast iron example of they don't really know who to be praying for right now.
Don't know what. No, they don't.
Are they taking this to FM radio in America? Are they taking this to the big stations, the classic rock stations? Because that's what it sounds like to me. See that, that it's nearly like a tongue-in-cheek sort of, that little, 4 or 5 or that 2 or 3 syllable thing at the end of every line of the verse.
Are they just verses, Are they just trying something different? Maybe it's not as contrived as that.
Fill you in.
Yeah. Yeah. One or the other.
Fill in the album.
We don't know. But maybe it's just, they're giving Yannick a bit of, it's a great idea, we'll give this a go. Maybe. I don't know.
This sounds like another Tattooed Millionaire cast off.
It's just not Iron Maiden. Yeah. Like, for me at all.
Okay. Yeah. It's the add-ons are stuck in my head. They really are. It's awful. In fact, see, to be honest, it's one of the things that will be a lasting memory of this album.
Yeah, you see,
that's like a bad date.
Unlike the last album, where the thing you had in your head was "Better watch out."
Yeah.
'Cause I'm the assassin, which actually is funny.
Yeah.
But it's cool and it's Iron Maiden funny.
Yeah.
Like that is Maiden.
And the lyrics are nonsense.
But this isn't. This isn't. It's nowhere near the assassin.
You know what? See, I printed these lyrics off just for a bit of crack.
The lyrics are nonsense. Yeah.
See, to be honest, I'm looking at them, right? And I'm going to myself, 7 or 8 lines of this entire song, and there are a hell of a lot of lines in this song.
Yeah.
There's a lot of singing in it. Could be inserted into a song of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, but you would never do it in a million years.
Yeah.
Like extrasensory perception. Life after death, telepathy. Oh no, forget about it.
Is that some of them? Yeah.
Yeah, I had to print them off because I was going to myself. Don't you? One day, right?
It's like, all right. Steve has been known to throw lyrics and difficult things to phrase.
Yeah.
Throwing the kitchen sink at Bruce in the past.
Doesn't do it here.
But that, well,
doesn't do it in this
what
album.
Was it? Extra sensory perception. That's
Bruce isn't even trying in this song though.
That I think he kind of does try, but it's just the song's so shite that what can he do? You can't polish a turd, and
no, you certainly can't. I've tried.
It wouldn't have mattered what he did. I feel he tries to craft some kind of, like, with a lesser singer, it would be even worse. I think.
With a lesser singer, it would be even. Freddie Mercury made a good stab of it. Freddie Mercury had put a bit of panache in that, I think.
Freddie Mercury would have left the room if someone had given this.
He'd beat the head off him with a coke ball. Yeah.
Next track. Next, I think definitely. Right.
Ding, 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 ding. On Monday.
No.
Yeah.
Judas Be My Guide.
Oh.
How do you miss that one out?
I forgot about that. I love Judas Be My Guide. Yeah. Dave's classic.
Yep. A Murray Harris banger.
This is a banger. This should have been the first track now.
And should have been. I agree. The title track and Afraid to Shoot Strangers aside, this is by far the best song on the album.
Agreed. 100%.
Here we have some fire.
Yep.
We have what sounds like an Iron Maiden song.
And a proper sing-along chorus.
Great chorus.
Yeah. I didn't even write anything. All I wrote my lyrics in this, or my lyrics and my notes says for a great 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's concise.
Yeah.
Really direct track with no faffing about.
Yep.
And there's a blend between the rasp in the verse to the pre-chorus. Yes. Bruce sings his balls off.
Yep, he does.
And yeah,
drums are great in this song too.
I wish they had harmonized it. It's a decent mix.
Yep.
I wish
this
they'd
one of Dave
harmonized
Martin Birch is in.
But yeah.
Really good song.
Dave Martin Birch was in. Quite possibly.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think it's a really good song. What I'd love to know is, and I think this song has a bit of a cult following actually. I think.
Did you play this live in the tour?
No, that's what I was about to say.
Shut up, did it?
So there's an Iron Maiden tribute band from Eastern Europe somewhere. And forgive me, I can't remember where. Is it Czech Republic? Is it Poland? Is it? Pop up with the comments if you know what I'm talking about. But they quite famously did a really rockin' cover of this,
right?
And that trended online, and give the song a bit of a, like I'm talking about in recent years.
Okay.
And give the song a bit of a cult following. Why did they not play this live on the tour when they played Wasting Love?
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Do you know something?
Decisions.
Stick that on Legacy of the Beast, and half the crowd would go buck down.
Would go crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's only 3 minutes.
I know. It's over.
You know, and that's it. It's not like it takes up a large part of the set.
Don't know what that song is. Yeah.
You know, I'd love to hear this.
So would I. I genuinely love to hear this with the 3 guitar lineup. Yeah,
it'd be immense.
Would be.
And I guess it comes to an important part of this era. This, for me, thinking about this, when it came to this song, I was thinking, why on earth did they not play that? Like, decision making from 1990 onwards. Yeah. You have basically from when Adrian Smith steps or is pushed.
Yeah.
Decision after decision after decision. Just there's so many wrong decisions.
Yeah.
Using the barnyard, using the mobile studio. All right.
Converting
the barnyard into a studio.
Yeah.
Letting Steve produce. You know, it's a catalogue of kind of the wrong playing certain songs live when you're kind of going like, why wouldn't you play? That's clearly
be very hard to get the crowd going during Wasting Love.
It's also clearly a single.
Absolutely.
Like for me, that's a better single than From Here to Eternity.
Oh dear Lord, yeah.
It's a more Iron Maiden sounding track.
Quicker Be Dead.
It's a better song than Be Quicker Be Dead.
It's the song they should have started off with first. And that is that single. That is of its time. That could be on it. That could be on another band's album, but still be Maiden. But still, you know what I mean?
But still be Maiden, and it doesn't sound. I think it would have sounded more. It doesn't sound forced like they're trying. Those other songs, Be Quicker Be Dead, and
it doesn't sound like it's in the 80s either.
No, but I think what I'm trying to say is the singles, all 3 singles from this album, are Maiden trying to be something else.
Yes.
Whether this song is Maiden just being Maiden.
Absolutely, yeah. 100%.
I think that's the difference. It just sounds like them.
It's great.
So a great track, a real deep cut. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this song, Judas Be My Guy. Let us know if you think it's as good as we think it is.
On Monday.
Because now we go to the... Oh, God, do we have to? This is my least favourite song.
Oh, no.
It's... Right, you can read what I've written.
I will read what you've written. Complete balls. What were they thinking?
Complete balls. What were they thinking?
Andy.
I do not want to hear a song about football hooliganism.
Andrew.
On an Iron Maiden album. What have you written?
You read what I wrote.
The guitar pulls me right in. Sorry, I was too close to the mic. What?
Why? Not what. Why? Why?
How can the guitar pull you right in?
This is the most... have I said this already? The most un-Maiden song ever.
It's really un-Maiden.
This is Brian Johnson.
I don't even think this sounds like Brian Johnson.
Sounds like I'm singing it. Definitely. But the only reason I think this song is, it's not great. Please, I don't like it. No, I don't. But
thank God for that. I thought you were saying you liked it.
No, I don't like it. But the guitar bit at the beginning is so 90s. It is the most 90s thing.
It's shit.
But that could be the start of most 90s tracks. That chromatic descend. It could have, if you put a bit of delay on it, it could be maybe something off an Alice in Chains.
Do you mean?
That? Yeah. It could be on a Pearl Jam album, definitely.
Yeah.
And I quite like those bands, and I quite like that sound.
I love Pearl Jam, but the thing is, their albums are well produced, and therefore it doesn't sound like muck. It just sounds... I think guitar sounds crap.
It does sound.
The tones.
I like the wee riff. The wee riff's good.
Fair enough.
I do like the riff, I have to say.
It's
Pulls me in.
Fair enough. That's
it really goes into an AC/DC song.
And then it goes a really... I don't even think it sounds... I don't know what it sounds like.
There's a Kerrang interview that if you can look this up. There's a Kerrang interview. Kerrang actually spent money sending a photographer and an interview. It just shows how things have changed. They talked to Steve Harris And the cover of the Crown issue, I looked it up online, I found it online.
Yes.
Is Steve Harris in a West Ham kit with a West Ham bass. It's the first time he'd used it because it's in the Wasting Love video as well.
Yeah, right. And
just a whole chat about football.
And I know this song is about football hooliganism.
Yeah, which is rife. And,
it's kind of like Green Machine type. Or is that what the movie's called? Mean Machine?
Green Street.
Green Street. Is there one called Mean Machine as well?
Aye, that's not really football hooliganism.
Is it not?
No.
Right, okay.
Green Street is the most sort of...
So they got Green Machine somehow out of that?
That's right. That's a brilliant Kaya song. But
yeah. Another 1992 album.
So it is.
Blues for the Red Sun, isn't it?
What an album.
Yeah.
What an album. Oh my God, I'm going to listen to that one. Listen
yeah, it's class.
It's class. Get that on if you've never heard it. You think Queens of Stone Age are good?
Green Machine is the song, isn't
Green
it?
Machine is one of the first track's really good.
What a riff.
First track's just as a Green Machine's not the first track, it's the second track,
but yeah, this song, do you know what comes across to me? A couple of things, and then we'll swiftly move on from Weekend Warrior, if you don't mind.
On Monday, what you gonna do?
I think that
what you gonna do?
The production's really bad in this. But maybe it's just the song is really bad. I actually think Bruce sounds uncomfortable singing this. I think it sounds...
like he feels weak singing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
he embarrassed.
Feels embarrassed.
Yeah.
I think he feels... honestly, I get that it doesn't sound sincere.
Yeah.
And that's
no, it takes a
so
serious...
good at telling stories.
Yeah, but it takes a serious subject matter, Andy, and makes it trivial.
Yeah, but he's trying to sing lyrics he doesn't believe in.
Aye.
And it's kind of in this album, and this song of all songs on this album, I never really heard that before from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And I've never really heard it since either.
Yeah. Definitely,
just,
the writing's on the wall.
I think he's singing that song. He just doesn't. I don't think he believes in it. He thinks it's cack.
Totally.
But maybe I'm wrong. But I think
no. If you like this, if you think this is I'm just taking a mic with it, but if you think this is genuinely a fantastic song, good luck.
Some people think this is, as you said before, some people really rate this album, but I just don't see it for me. But that is the thing about music, folks.
Everybody's got their own opinions, like in our soul.
Totally. And then we come to... We've said enough about Weekend Warrior. Yeah.
I think we've said too much about
Weekend Warrior.
Yeah.
Now we come to the title track, Fear of the Dark.
And an absolute... Go on ahead. Finish.
An absolute platinum Maiden track. This is absolute classic Iron Maiden. Masterpiece. All time. Brilliant songs. It is the only genuine classic on the album. It is the best song by a country mile.
Yeah.
Not even Afraid to Shoot Strangers, Just Be My Guide. They're like, they're good, but they're still second division.
Yeah.
This is Champions League.
It's the only song which has stood the test of time.
It's the only song that stood the test of time. It is the only song that the production doesn't completely ruin.
True.
It is definitely the best produced song on the album. The balance is pretty spot on it. I would say most time is spent on it, maybe. But for me, it's actually the live version.
Which is the one I love.
Which is the one that made everyone really fall in love.
That picture disc.
Yep.
That's the one I had. Yep. Which I sold to you for fag money.
Yep. It definitely is the version of a real live one.
Yeah.
A live album that gets a bit of a battering as well, and yet I think it's
really
strong,
good.
really good.
But just it is a lot of early stuff.
Yeah.
Really early stuff,
A phenomenal live performance of this song. Bruce sounds amazing. Amazing. And it's the live at Donington version. Those are the ones that make this song the, massive headline Maiden track that it is.
Yeah.
And the writing.
Yeah.
Now, the lyrics of this song are, I think they're just truly wonderful. This is Steve Harris at his finest.
Yeah, this is nearly Number of the Beast style.
Yeah, it's that level.
It is. Yeah,
it is that level.
It is.
And you know, we've really knocked this album.
We have. We've given it an awful kicking.
Yeah. It finishes off with what is an epic.
Yeah, and still
over this epic 7-minute mark. Still is to this day.
It's just, you know, I first heard Fear of the Dark on that picture disc.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the album track.
Yeah.
The album track is good, but the live track is...
That's way better.
It's nearly a religious experience.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's way better. And it just
when
shows
you hear that crowd going, and you know that it sort of got its second life, it got that, but then when you hear it on Rock and Rio, it's really good.
So it sounds so big, doesn't it?
It's really good.
But
really good.
It shows you that what has happened here is you have a piece of genuine brilliance, songwriting. The recording isn't the...
still not great. Yeah,
it's still not great.
Yeah,
but the song is so good it shines through.
Exactly.
And yet when you put it in that live scenario, it just lifts.
Yeah.
Now, why is it such a wonderful song? I mean, for me, the lyrics are just both in a literal sense and in a deeper, a more emotional way.
Yeah.
They're wonderfully written. Both in that first person
really good.
sense.
Yeah.
And also, like, what is the dark?
Yeah.
You know, it can be that, you know, it's such a primal thing to have a fear of the dark that every single person on earth can understand it.
Absolutely.
There's no one can understand that concept.
Yeah, the fear of the unknown.
You know, and it's the way the words are written. You know, searching
it's quite
for
a
the light.
fatalistic track. It could be an illness. It could be
someone following you.
Yeah, but that could be a spectre, something
wonderful.
else. It could be depression. It could be doubt. It could be illness. It could be lost love. It could be so many things.
So many things.
Yeah.
It works on all those levels. It transcends from that literal.
It's one of their greatest tracks.
One of their greatest tracks. It is just a titanic.
It is so
track,
good.
You know,
good. You lot know out there.
You know, and the opening lines even are just, you know, I'm a man who walks alone, and when I'm walking in the dark road at night or strolling, you know,
the park.
That's really very, it's very intimate.
Yeah.
You know, that's innermost thoughts type thing.
Why is he walking alone?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're all alone in a way.
We're all alone in a way.
You know, in this journey of life, I suppose. You know, but that's why, exactly. There's so like, many levels to the lyrics. You know, that's what makes them, and yet they sound so simple.
It's like another lyric, as soon as you're born, you're dying, from, my head's over it. It's on this album.
Clairvoyant.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. You know, sometimes when you're scared to take a look at the corner of the room, you sense that something's watching you. I mean,
fear of the dark. Fear of the dark. Oh, yeah.
And as you quicken up your pace, you find it hard to look again because you're sure that someone's there. I mean, it's so simple.
But the way Bruce delivers it live as well, just especially in the Legacy of Beast, you're class.
It's
a lump and all, hasn't he?
But yeah,
that's
he
right.
does. And a real it's still out of Victorian London.
Yeah, total Jack the Ripper.
Here, Bruce's delivery, especially live, is stunning.
It's magnificent.
It's just a wonderful, wonderful song.
It is. It's brilliant. It's a superb way to end the album.
It's a superb way to end the album in a way that
it's very nearly not worth the wait to listen to that track.
It's a difficult album.
Yeah.
It's their longest album up to this point, just shy of an hour.
It's the first album of the CD age, Andy.
Yeah, so there's probably a couple more tracks on it than they would have done. They've moved away from that kind of, you know, eight song format, 45-minute format.
Yeah.
They've, you know, moved to all that you're at an hour now for CD kind of thing, you know. And I think they struggle with that a bit. Definitely struggle for identity. But this is a pure 100% just
solid gold classic.
Just an Iron Maiden song.
It really is.
Most fans would agree. It's a highlight of any live show you see, you want to hear Fear of the Dark. It's just awesome. So
Right.
we'll maybe do the Eddies, will we? And then
go for the
sum
Eddies,
up.
and then we'll sum up. Yeah.
So the Eddies, so odd, some great Eddies in this era. The title, the album cover, should I say, isn't by Derek Riggs, as I'm sure many of you know. It's by Melvin Grant, and it's actually brilliant.
I quite like it.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
I remember seeing it when the album came out in a music shop, and I thought that is really eye-catching. It's totally different.
It's a brilliant Eddie. Yeah. Despite it not being Derek Riggs, it is the best non-Derek Riggs Eddie. Yeah, it was the first non-Derek Riggs Eddie. For me, it's the best.
Do you think so?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. If somebody told me that wasn't Derek Riggs, I wouldn't have known.
That's true.
Because it's witty.
Yeah.
And for me, of all the Eddies that aren't Derek Riggs, you can tell it's not just because of the style, it's because of the content. That wittiness isn't there.
Nods on Easter eggs, is that what you mean?
Yeah. And just the concept.
Yeah. Okay.
The concept usually isn't. Derek Riggs' concepts are always really intelligent and surreal or really well thought out. This is really well thought out.
Yeah.
I actually saw sketches of Derek Riggs' Fear of the Dark.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. I've heard of them.
It's not much to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a floating figure over a bed.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, all right, that was just a concept sketch. But the one that they went for is far better. Read an interview with Melvin Grant, and he said he had total freedom. And it was just the title, Fear of the Dark. There was no guidance or no anything.
Yeah.
So he wanted to come up with something. He looked at, obviously, this vast amount of Derek Riggs' work and stuff, and it needs to... I don't want to stray too far from that.
Yeah.
But he said, I want to make something that's... I decided I wanted to make something that was a bit more sinister, less cartoon, and a bit more sinister than that. Something that was genuinely eerie.
Yeah.
And I think he achieved that. It is sinister.
It's definitely sinister. It's fair, and it's nearly like he did the Wicker Man, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could see that. You could see that.
I think he did.
Celtic, rustic's not the right word, but you know, that sort of primordial Eddie of the Earth.
Eddie of the Earth.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like folklorish Eddie rather than psychotic beggar dude.
He did Virtual 11.
He did Virtual. Well, let's just we'll talk about that different thing. It's weird.
It is a weird cover.
But you know,
and Final Frontier, did he do it?
He did the Final Frontier.
I think he did as well, I think. Anyway, we digress. I think the Fear of the Dark Eddie is brilliant. It's busting out of the tree. I think it suits the song so well. And for me, you wouldn't know it wasn't Derek Riggs.
It could be dead. Eddie, what about you think about it?
So all the other works are Derek Riggs.
Be Quicker Be Dead.
Be Quicker Be Dead. I think it's quite cool, actually.
Mr. McCamley had it up in his room, remember?
Yeah, the newspapers. Eddie's strangling Maxwell.
Yeah, pretty much. Or a Maxwell-esque figure,
I think it's quite cool, actually.
Yeah, it's quite. It's like, have I got news for you?
Yeah.
Always reminds me of it. You know, the background of their set drop. Here to Eternity, then.
It's a kind of odd one. So there kind of is an Eddie and kind of isn't. It's kind of this weird figure. It's like a... so I have the digi pack of it. It's actually a photograph of the video.
Yeah.
But there is a kind of Eddie figure within it. It's hard to describe. It looks kind of pagan or something. Or
90s.
Yeah, they're trying to be different. As we've covered, Waste and Love doesn't have a thing. Now, I said there were some good Eddies there, but maybe it's actually more in the real live one.
Yeah.
Era.
So some class ones
where there's some brilliant.
And the Donington model is good too.
the Donington Batwing
thing, yeah.
So that's by our Senjutsu and
Yes.
Book of Souls guy, Mark Wilkinson. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some brilliant Derek Riggs in a real live one, a real dead one era where
there are.
Riggs comes back.
Yeah, he does with a few broadsides.
Really delivers. And a last glorious run, I would say.
Summing up.
So summing up, I'll sum up first, will I?
Go on ahead.
So summing up on this album, I think this album is a real identity crisis for the band. I think they're trying, as I've kind of said, they're trying other things. It's partly because they're missing Adrian Smith. It's partly because I guess they're maybe just, I think as Bruce said before, creatively done.
Yeah.
By this point, I think he's admitted that he was just creatively done. He had nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
I think he felt after Seventh Son, he had nothing really left in the tank.
Yep. Agreed.
You know, after the 80s, I suppose, and churning out so many
killers,
phenomenal albums. You know, they're only human. So they're trying other things, but I think it sounds very forced. I don't think it sounds natural. I think they're searching for something and they're not finding it. I think the Barnyard is a terrible place to record.
Yep.
I think it sounds really dead, and it's quite an achievement to actually make such a powerful outfit as Iron Maiden sound so tame,
so insipid,
and that's what the Barnyard does for me. So yet this album ended up being a #1 and actually did well in the UK and stuff. But I think the title track may have papered over some cracks.
Aye, definitely.
But I think that this album is of such a low quality that Bruce Dickinson decides to jump ship.
That's it, yeah.
And leaves.
Yeah.
Announces that he's leaving. So my rating for this album is 3 out of 10.
Jesus.
I think it's dismal overall. This is Iron Maiden, and
3.
Yeah, it's piss. So it is. I think it's really weak. I think it's really, really weak. Well, I give
an album of Fear of the Dark on it. You're gonna give it 3.
Yeah, and it's because Fear of the Dark's on it that it gets 3.
You were gonna give it a 1.
I mean, Afraid to Shoot Strangers and Just Be My Guide, all right.
Oh, good songs.
Are good songs, but the rest of it is really weak. I think the production's terrible.
That's hard.
It's my least favourite and least listened to Iron Maiden album.
Same.
So this, so that's why it's getting such a low mark.
Oh my god. How do you come after that? I should have went first.
There's no other Iron Maiden album that only has 3 decent songs on it, in my opinion. Every other album I can pick more than what I would call 3 good songs.
Okay.
I think this has, we've went through it and there's basically
there's
3
there's nothing
good songs on
compares
it.
to this in a good way.
No.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, that's my mark. Don't
okay, right.
Yours, but
too long. 12 tracks is far too long for this album.
It overstays its welcome.
Completely spent songwriting force.
Yes.
And from Bruce's quotes, Steve Harris's papal infallibility quote.
That is, I'm really glad you mentioned that. Yeah.
That is really this is the Harris era where you cannot say no.
Yeah.
The band can't say no. Is it because they don't want to upset the apple cart? Is it because they know they're on with a great band and that they have a great legacy, and anything to jeopardize that legacy any further, they've lost one of their key songwriters. They're about to lose their charismatic frontman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are they too scared to stand up to him?
I think they've just taken their eye off the ball completely.
They've tried to reposition themselves in different ways. This album nearly is like, you know, you can't say it's a concept album at all, but I'm not even going to say it's a concept album, don't worry, Andy, but every track could be on a different album, is what I mean. A different rock album.
A different rock album.
You know,
they're
you've
all
got
over the place. Led Zeppelin.
It's more of a classic rock album than a metal album. It's not a Maiden album at all.
Not a Maiden album.
deep diving into some of the tracks are good. You know, I'm not going to turn around and say I quite like The Fugitive. You know, it's a good enough track. Childhood's End is a good enough track.
Yep.
It's a filler. They're both fillers, so you know. And The Apparition and Weekend Warrior and Wasting Love.
And I think that's why I've given it such a low mark.
Yeah.
Because it's not only that there's songs that aren't, you know, great on it. There's songs I actually dislike on it.
Yeah.
And that's I can't say that about many Maiden albums.
How many of these would you listen to
up to this point?
Because I've had a real bad case of Stockholm Syndrome with this album.
Yeah,
when I first listened to it, I've said already, I hated it. And then I couldn't stop listening to it. And then I thought to myself, that's actually not too bad. And then I'm going, is this not too bad because I've listened to it 50 times? Or is this not too bad because it's Maiden and I love Maiden? And, like, I can't believe Bruce Dickinson said in an interview, this is the best album we've ever done. And they say it every time.
Yeah,
it's got this taste that with Senjutsu. When he said that, I didn't believe him.
No, I know. I saw that interview as well. It's him and Nico doing I saw this on YouTube. They're doing like one of those MTV like things or something like that. They're actually presenting.
Yeah,
they're actually presenting. There's the Vanessa Warwick or nothing's there. They're presenting from. And it might have been somewhere in Scandinavia or something. They're presenting the show, introducing videos and all. You know that was the thing at the time. And when he talked about the album, he said it's the best sounding album we've done.
Rubbish.
In a long time, I think is what he said.
A long time being like 3 or 4 weeks.
A long time being since 1988 is probably what he meant. But yeah, he was trying to sell it. He was trying to sell it.
I think he was still into it. Yeah, but
I would agree with you because I think he was in it when he made it.
Yeah.
But I think very shortly after that, there's a realization comes. I think he says he tried to have a talk with Steve about the quality of the albums.
Yeah.
That they've been putting out,
the Papal Infallibility,
and about he realised Papal Infallibility. But I think there was a realisation. I think of all of them, Bruce probably looked at the music scene, looked at what was going on around him, and saw that, you know, post Black Album, grunge, 1992, actually just after Fear of the Dark comes out, we've mentioned a number of pretty big albums that come out.
Alternative sounding, and different.
You know, so you have actually, there's a myth that, you know, metal struggled in the 90s. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree. I think the 80s metal bands, apart from Metallica and Megadeth, struggled.
Yes. But actually what happens is, so metal repackages itself.
It does.
Into this well-produced power with very steely sounding guitars. You've got Pantera, and it's supposed it's a combination of the Black Album and Justice for All. You know, you Countdown to Extinction. Everyone's trying to make the next big Metallica album.
Yeah.
Everyone.
When was Arise by Sepultura? 92 as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, or 93, was it 92 or 93?
KSID was 94, I think.
Oh, Arise would have been 91 or 90.
Yeah.
And KSID was 93, I think.
Was it? I thought it was 94.
Something like that anyway, but that's another good example, you know, about slow the pace down.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's where the market's at.
Yep. As I was saying, marketing.
That's where metal's at. And I think Bruce, putting words into his mouth, no real evidence for this, but just from a few comments, I think he, after making this album, I think he sees that.
Yeah.
That they've missed the boat.
Yeah.
And
totally.
You know, they've missed that. Maiden have missed out and all
this
that.
Has got about,
and they've got left behind.
It's like a millipede. It's got 9 feet in about different genres. It's got a Def Leppard track. It's got a Rainbow track. It's got 2 Led Zeppelin tracks. It's got a political track. It's got 2 AC/DC tracks. It's got an acoustic track about football hooliganism. It's got a slowpoke ballad.
And what apart from all being all over the place, songwriting, right? You're totally right.
And the production.
Throw on top of that the fact that it is not a state of the art produced album.
No, it's not. It's certainly not.
And
The last one got away with it because the idea was to be a throwback.
Yes.
Was to be killers.
Yes.
This is supposed to be the future. And if this was the future, then you should have just given up after Samsung.
Yeah.
Because this is not good enough. It's not good. It's not great. My ed factor score for this is going to be 4.5.
4.5.
Not good.
So 3 and 4.5.
The only reason it's getting 4.5 is because it's got Fear the Dark on it.
7.5 in total.
I'd like to think someday I'll go back and listen to this album. I do like to think there'll be someday, and I'll listen to it and go, there's some good, there are some mediocre classic rock songs in this album. None of them should be released by Maiden.
I find this difficult to listen to a lot. I'd
Right.
force myself to put it back on.
I developed like a Stockholm syndrome, as I say, with it.
I did run it. But
This
it
is
was kind of like I want to listen to something else, but I have to listen.
See, in our prep here, this is the album which I've listened to and dived the deepest into. More
Right.
so than No Prayer for the Dying.
Right.
Because I kind of knew what to expect with it.
Yeah.
And the rest of them I know like the back of my hand.
And you enjoyed No Prayer for the Dying far more.
Aye, a bit more. Yeah.
You know.
Not way more, like, but a bit more. Yeah, I did. No Prayer for the Dying's a better album.
I think it's far more enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's far better listen. Just, it's just no pissing around.
This is like
just so there's so much plod and all
this
that.
is kind of like a freak show.
Yeah, it's the worst album for me.
Or you can't not look at it. You have to listen to it to see what other next horror is around the corner.
It's around the corner. Yeah, it's really
And
poor.
apart from watch the Waste and Love video.
I have to watch it. Yeah,
you'll turn it off after about 2 minutes. Literally. It's rare.
I will have to put myself through that. And yet Fear the Dark is a Titanic track, but
a Titanic track,
but not enough to save this album.
No,
it is it's like
it's a combined score.
It's like Ronaldo playing for Man United at the moment.
Fat Ronaldo.
No.
A combined Ed Factor score of 3.75.
That is dire for a Maiden
album. That's going to be lowest.
That is. I'd be pretty sure that might be lowest.
No.
So there we are. Next up,
to have an inspirational quote: "The night is darkest just before the dawn."
Yes. So
it's not going to get that much lighter.
Well,
but
some interesting pods. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk. There's a real live one and a real dead one, and live at Donington,
and maybe Raising Hell,
Yeah. So we're going to attempt to cover those.
Yes, in one episode.
And
Bruce's departure probably.
And Bruce's departure.
Kind of make it about a decent enough length. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our intention for the next episode. So stay tuned, guys. Let us know your thoughts about this album. If we've been too harsh, if you love this album, we welcome all opinions. We are not right. We only say what we think.
It's true.
Everyone has their own thoughts.
So we'd like to hear from you on Monday. So remember, be quick or be dead. And like and subscribe and share and comment and tweet and tell us what you think of this monumental failure
of an album.
Of an album.
Maiden, we love you, and sorry we didn't enjoy this.
If this is your first episode that you watch, please go back and watch the rest of them.
Yep,
we love Maiden so much.
Yep, you will hear us wax lyrical about
instead of
most albums, but
wax our backs. Whatever it is than this.
Not this one. Yeah. But anyway, guys, speak to you soon. Up the irons.
Take care.
Woo!